So I made a long time before a lot of you discovered this page, a video on Solitude builds Fortitude, and I want to remake it because you can watch the original as well, still be very valid, but I want to update it just so you guys have it fresh, because you know, a lot of the stuff, all the little strategies and tactics I try to share with you, none of them compared to the solitude part of it. And I everyone that messages me, there's always some theme of creating space for solitude, and the reason being is because it's just served me so well in my transformation on my journey, and I'll tell you, I'll give you a bit of a reasoning behind it. So a lot of you know now my story in London was obviously living on my own in a studio was solitude, but that alone didn't just give me the fortitude. So let's define what fortitude is. Fortitude is it's the foundation, it's the pillars of a building that make sure that the structure stays stable under all circumstances, so it doesn't falter, it doesn't waver, it doesn't crack. It's just strong, it's sturdy under all conditions. So solitude over time for me built that fortitude. It wasn't just one meditation, it wasn't just 1 month of living on my own in London. It was 18 months living in a studio by myself, followed by another 2.5 years coming back to Australia and not working, and living with my parents, but I wasn't home much. I would go out into where you see me do the videos, and I would just be with myself for 6 to 8 hours a day, and I was very fortunate that I saved money from London, and I didn't go out because I was too depressed, but luckily I saved money, and I came back and I could afford to take that time off. So it was a long time of solitude that built the fortitude, that built the confidence, that built the person who you see in front of the camera today. And you have to implement that in a way that suits your lifestyle today. So I know a lot of you have kids, a lot of you have very career driven, have a really serious job. Whatever your situation is, there's always that 20 minutes here, there's always that 1 hour on the weekend, or 2 or 3 hours on the weekend, where you can, if you got serious about it, you could really make it happen. You could really set some time aside to not be distracted watching TV, or just doing silly stuff that isn't very productive. So you've got to make that sacred space for yourself. You have to really know the benefit of why it's important. I'm hoping I'm doing a good job of giving you that, but you have to implement it as well. And if you do have the flexibility to take a month off work and go travel around the world by yourself, or just go interstate to another state by yourself, whatever you can muster up to do by yourself, go on a road trip by yourself, just do something by yourself that really gives you it's hours, it's a lot of time on your own, and really being by yourself with your thoughts, and really building that relationship up with yourself. It's just it answers so many of the questions that you guys have, and it answered all my questions flat out. Who am I? What it is to love myself. All my insecurities were answered. My lack of confidence was given to me on a platter. Everything, my selfishness that I lived with all my life, the lack of connection I had with everybody around me, like everything that I struggled with my whole life came to me from just putting in the time, honoring my space, making time for myself to really just not be distracted by my phone, by friends, by the TV, but even by my family. I just cut everybody out and just went hardcore with it. And I know some of you are going to say, oh yeah, Shane, but you're young and you don't have a family, you don't have any commitments, and you're lucky this. look, that's just the cards I've been dealt with, and I'm trying to give back, right? I'm trying to do what I can for the fortunate life I've had so far. I'm trying to do my bit to give back. But that's irrelevant. Don't worry about me. Don't get caught up with my life and what I went through and all the, how lucky I am I don't have kids. I've chosen not to have kids. I had a relationship for 7 years, right? And we lived together from 19 to 26. We lived together from day one. And she wanted kids towards the end. For the last 3 years, there was discussion, let's have kids, let's have kids. And I could have easily fallen for it and gone down that rabbit hole as well. So you can say I don't have them and I don't understand, but I chose not to have them. Okay, and it's irrelevant. Don't worry about me. I'm trying to guide and help, and you need to worry about you. If you've got kids, great, look after them, do your best for them, be the best role model you can, but make space for yourself as well. Okay, it's now a challenge for you to now fit this solitude in. It's so important, you can't overlook it. If you want to be the best you, if you want to be the best role model for your kids, you have to show them what it's like to be independent. But you can't show independence if you haven't given it to yourself, if you haven't lived it yourself. Do you see what I'm getting at? So if you want your kids to be fully independent, mature men and women, you yourself have to be fully matured and independent. You can't give what you don't have. So make space for it. It's going to literally give you everything that you need. Every question that you have, every insecurity that you have, like I said, you'll get all the answers from just spending that time by yourself. It's not going to happen after one night, 1 month, even 1 year. It took me a long time. I just told you before. 18 months in London, and then about 2.5 years when I got back. And when I got back, it wasn't just 1 hour a day. Let's just put it that way. It takes time. But I will tell you this. As the months go by, you start to enjoy your company more. As the months go by, you just get one little nugget here, one little nugget there. It makes it all worthwhile. After the months go by, you look back and you're like, oh shit, look what I've discovered about myself. Wow. And then as the years go by, and then it just becomes a lifestyle. You still have your kids, you still have your job, but you still got the 3-hour nature walk or hike that you do every Sunday. Or you still have, when you're watching shitty TV at night, you make an hour where you just sit by yourself with candles and read a book, or hang out with your children and they do their artwork in a nice study that you've decorated with nice candles, and it's like a peaceful time that you've created with your kids. Integrate your kids with your solitude, because you're very much teaching them a very valuable lesson in life to be independent, to be self-sufficient, not to need distractions, not to need the TV or Facebook to be entertained. You're teaching them valuable lessons of how to really take care of their own needs and get to know themselves. There's no excuse for being in solitude.